Good morning, in this video today we have a discussion video talking about Season 13 of War Thunder's Battle Pass, also known as the Tropical Storm, which, given the top reward, is actually a pretty good name. And we're starting out with probably the most meme-worthy one, not because of its name, but because it's a boat. The boats are normally quite meme-ish. But we have the HMS Gay Archer. Now, I must admit, um, from what I saw immediately, a lot of people were cracking jokes about this thing, but a lot of them were actually quite tame, which is surprising for the War Thunder community. Um, but from what it looks to be, it actually seems to be pretty unique. I don't recognize this boat at all from the British tech tree, so for once, it's like Gaijin listened to me and actually made something unique. So let's take a quick look at this little boat. So we do have a 40mm Bofors mounted on the front. I love my Bofors, so this will be very much appreciated by me. Get a couple of torpedoes. I don't know if you get reloads. I would assume no, because no like visible areas where you'd keep extra torpedoes. Maybe in the hull. I don't know, but once we actually get our hands on it, we can find out. And then in the back we have a 20mm Orlican cannon, which we're all familiar with this as well. It seems to be pretty alright. Like it is an interesting one, and as you can see, the actual class is that. Like I don't know. I don't know what us Brits were thinking when we named this bloody thing, but if I didn't at least bring it up, I'm very certain that people in the comments would just believe in jokes, but yeah. It is actually called that, and there are other boats in the series, which you can see there. Yeah, this is definitely one that I was not expecting to see in a battle pass purely because of the name. I didn't even know this class of boat actually existed, so if anything, any day is a school day when it comes to Gaijin and their battle pass choices, but at least we're getting unique, so that's something. At least we can say that. Now, I don't think this is going to be the free vehicle. I think I know what the free vehicle is going to be. And that is this, the Brenner 9053. This is what happens when you take a pizza delivery truck and decide to turn it into a war machine. Something out of Mad Max. And this is definitely something like that. So from the dev server, what I've seen, this is a 6-crew vehicle. You've got the 2 guys in the front and the 4 guys on the back. It has Nefol armor, even worse than the flak boss. It's got like 7mm on the turret shield, and it's got, well, structural steel on the cab, so it's not exactly going to be blocking any rounds anytime soon, but I love the Italian 90mm, and I definitely think this is going to be something which we go, yeah, this is going to be a solid vehicle. Yeah, it's going to get cast to death, but if you set this thing up in a good position, a bit like a flak bus, you are pretty much going to be in a good position. Now, I don't know if this gets a rangefinder like the Yag 10 and the flak bus, but I would assume it's going to. So I'm going to base my opinion off of that. I don't think it will because those two are pretty cracked with their rangefinders, but like I said, I'm going to base it as if it does get a rangefinder. If it does, this thing is going to be an absolute menace because the Italian 90mm has like 140 grams of explosive. I think the other shell has like 200 something, which is the stock shell, which has about 130mm of pen. It is definitely something that you can go, yeah, this thing is going to be pretty strong once it gets into a position. The problem is, with how tall the damn gun is, you're going to be struggling to hide this thing behind cover, especially the cab. But, of course, with it having only 7mm of armor, it is definitely something where you have to go, look, we can't position this thing in the best of positions, let's just start sniping. And this gun will be perfectly adequate for that. And like I said, if it gets to rangefinder module, which I think it will, this is going to be pretty good. Of course, when it comes to planes, well, I don't really need to answer that because the flak bus and the Ag 10 have the same problem. But as long as you don't get disturbed by planes, this thing is going to be pretty strong. And, well, it's not as good as the Breda 401 or 501 and whatever it is. I can't remember the name of it. But it is definitely something that is quite nice. And not only that, you get a beautiful camo like this. And if you set up. Well, if you mess around with the actual camouflages, you can actually make it look like this thing's covered in spaghetti and meatballs, which is pretty cool. So definitely do that if you want to make this thing even more meme worthy, especially at distance. But yeah, I think this is going to be a good one, and is definitely a good thing to have. And I have wanted to see this vehicle in the game for quite some time. Didn't think it'd be part of a battle pass, but here we are. And now we come to the one which I'm fairly certain people will be wanting my opinion on, because we need to talk about this little fella. This is the Strike Master Mark 88, which hails from the land of, I believe, New Zealand. I've not really looked, and yeah, there's a New Zealand decal on it. This is going to be an interesting one, because this is a rank 4 battle rating 6 at the time of this recording. It could definitely change. I think this is going to be 6-3, but anyway. So this is a trainer jet modified to do, well, strike duty, and it does seem to have some good characteristics. It's got the Rolls-Royce Need engine, so it's got a pretty good engine under the bonnet. Seems relatively light. The wing loading seems pretty light. I've seen people like looking at it, and it's only 1 kilogram more than a G6, which is pretty impressive. And from what I've seen on the dev server, this thing's quite agile. The only problem is, well, you can probably tell, but guns aren't this thing's strong suit. Striking targets from rockets and bombs is where this thing comes into its own. So, from what I've heard, this aircraft is potentially going to get gun pods. So, this vehicle could have 7.62 gun pods, which are FN Brownings, or I think it could get 20s or 20mm cannons. I'm not sure what kind of 20 mils, but even so, this is definitely something that will really boost this aircraft, because from what I've seen, it only gets two 7.62s, and they're FN Brownings, which at 6.0, you're going to be meeting a lot of stuff with pretty well armor. So, like, you're going to run into 288s, D9s, D13s, etc. And they have pretty good backrest armor, which can stop 30 cals. So, I don't expect this thing to be steel clubbing German teams with just two 7.62s. Sure, they will be struggling to catch it, but the Wonder Waffle can catch it and outturn it. So, there is a silver lining for you German players. If you do have a Wonder Waffle on your team, the 162, you aren't going to lose directly to this thing. It's just going to be an absolute nightmare if you don't, because props will struggle to catch it once it gets wound up, which it does take a bit of a time to do that, a bit like early jets. But from what I've seen, this thing is actually, like, it's going to be fun. And yeah, German players beware, because good luck catching this in a 1 and 9 on the deck, is all I'll say, but, well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So, as I say, we do have, obviously, two 7.62s, we have some 500-pound bombs, we also have some rockets and everything, but it does seem to be one of those rank 4 jets, which we rarely get. I think we've only had one, and that's the P-59, but that is a rare jet, and, well, I don't think this thing's going to be rare. I think everyone and their mothers is going to grab one of these things out of the battle pass. Because, mark my words, if this thing gets the 20mm gun pods, which I don't think it will, but even if it gets the 7.62s, this will be the next Wyvern. Now, the Wyvern's already gone up to 4-3, and it's still causing terror. So, in my opinion, I think this battle pass is going to be good, but we do have to be careful about the Strike Master, because if it gets 20mm gun pods, it is going to tear apart 288s, because the 288s will not outrun this thing. From what I've seen, it can do 700 kilometers an hour with full payload, and around 850 without payload. This thing is going to be a nightmare if it's balanced poorly, so to speak. And even with the 7.62 gun pods, the fact that this thing can carry up to 10 of them, like, so you got your 2 in the nose, and then you got your 2, or your 10 spread across the airframe and all that, this thing is going to be an absolute menace. So hopefully Gaijin thinks about this, because I already have it hard dealing with Wyverns, because they actually have decent guns. Imagine having a Wyvern that's even faster than a Wyvern, and most importantly, is able to catch your 288s and shit. Yeah, that's going to be a terror, but we'll soon find out. But I hope you enjoyed seeing this brief overview. Obviously, we have seen all the vehicles now. The Battle Pass starts in 2 days. Obviously, you'll be seeing this a little bit early before that. You'll probably be seeing that later, or this video later today, because it's the 23rd as I record this. But I just want to share my opinion, because obviously I have been quite negative towards Gaijin in recent times about their battle passes, because let's be real, they've sucked. But now, I actually think this is going to be a step in the right direction, and I do think this is what we need. And unfortunately, whilst they haven't used my Battle Pass proposal, which if you haven't watched that, please do go feel free to take a look. But I think this is definitely what we kind of need. We needed a Battle Pass that brought the reason to purchase the Battle Pass back. And all I'll say is, I get paid in 3 days. I think I'll be treating myself to this Battle Pass because I want that jet. And yeah, that's going to be fun. Anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing this brief overview. Obviously, let me know your opinions in the comments below. And I will see you all on the next one.